Hi, my name is Sofia, and today we're going to talk about research operations. This is an introduction to research ops for product managers. But most importantly, I would like to talk about how research operations can become a competitive advantage for your organization, how your product organization can use the principles, thinking, and frameworks behind research operations to accelerate the speed in which you deliver value to your customers. So, what is research operations? You're probably very familiar with DevOps, Data Ops, and most recently, Design Ops. These are emerging disciplines that have a lot of things in common. The first one is that they are a combination of methodologies, frameworks, tools, and practices that enable the business to achieve three very specific goals. The first one is reduce inefficiencies. So in the context of design ops, for example, we're trying to build systems and components that can allow multiple designers or organization of designers to scale their work and to iterate faster on their solution design and so on. When you think about speeding up delivery, for instance, you can think about in the context of DevOps, how can we make sure that we can deliver features, applications, fixes, improvements to our product as fast as possible and put those improvements in the hands of our customers, how we can streamline the development process. And ultimately, these disciplines allow the business to stay aligned, but most importantly, stay focused on the customer. So research ops is not far away from these concepts. Research ops is also an emerging discipline. It actually started in 2018. And it is indeed a series of methodologies, frameworks, tools, practices, and ideas that help the business reduce inefficiencies within the research process, how the business execute on research, user research, customer research. Not only how research is done in the business, but how the research function evolve in the organization and how you scale that as you grow. It also focuses on increasing the impact of the research work. So the outcome of user research and customer research and product discovery, how that outcome drive the product strategy, how it helps to validate what to build next, but also how that research outcome and output can be used by other functions in the organization, by other team members like marketing, sales, support, and so on. So therefore, it also focuses on enabling cross-functional team participation. So the research team or the product team, whom in most cases in medium-sized organizations might be the only team doing customer research, how can the product team leverage the customer-facing teams like sales, support, and so on, and then be able to access the intelligence that they're gathering by having conversations with customers on an ongoing basis. So how that intelligence feeds back into the research process and ultimately into the product. And finally, how all those insights that we're generating internally by doing customer and user research, plus all the intelligence that we're gathering from frontline teams like sales and customer support, how all those learnings can be shared and made accessible for the entire organization. So I would like to share with you three areas that I've noticed are the main focus for most organizations at this point. And the first one is recruitment, and that has to do with recruiting candidates for user testing sessions, being able to contact customers for customer interviews and further research and so on. Data management relates to liberating data, breaking silos, being able to have access to analytics, quantitative information, qualitative information as well, how we can leverage the data that we're gathering from customers in a way that we can make better decisions. And finally, knowledge management. Once we have access to our data and we can analyze it and we can use it, any insights that come from the data analysis, how can we share that with the organization easily? How other people can benefit from the output of that research, of that data analysis. When it comes to these three areas, there are three metrics that I would like to share with you today. Time to customer, time to insights, and time to solution. So when it comes to recruitment, once you have a research question, once you have identified a problem that you want to understand a bit better, how long does it take you to actually talk to the right customer? And for some of you, this might sound like this is not a problem. I can always talk to a customer. I can find very easily their information and just send them an email. The second area of key focus within data management is trying to understand how to reduce the time to insights. So once you have gathered enough data about a problem or you have enough data about a specific research question that you had, how long does it take you to turn that data into actionable and shareable insights? How long does it take to collaborate with other team members in order to analyze that data? How long does it take to analyze it? So this is all about, once you have the data, how you get to an actionable and shareable insight. And finally, once you have that insight, once you have understood a problem, once you have something that you can use to improve the customer experience and your product, how long does it take to actually become something tangible that the customer can experience? So how long does it take for that to turn maybe into a feature? How long does it take to turn that insight into a product? How long does it take that insight to become a better user experience, for example? So time to solution. These are some of the examples of things that you can do today, very practical, to increase the speed between all these different key areas, or steps, if you like. So, for example, within recruitment, you can talk about protocols. So do you have a step-by-step guide into how to get in contact with customers? In recruitment as well, very simple things like using Calendly or Hotspot, a booking system that allows the whole team to very quickly set up interviews with customers and make the calendar available to everybody else, so we know when we're talking to customers and to whom. There are a series of applications and companies that can help you manage this process if you are in a large organization, but if you are in a small organization, most of this work can be automated. Finally, data management. So have you map and centralize your customer feedback sources? People have access to data where they can do cohort analysis? Can everybody have access to the user research information and any other data that might help them make better decisions? Another basic thing around data management, for example, if you're having customer interviews and you are recording those interviews, you can use things like SpeechPad or rep.com, which allows you to do analysis of those transcriptions. First of all, it helps you to transcribe the interviews, but also helps you to do analysis on those transcriptions, so you can accelerate the time that you spend analyzing that data. Now, we were talking at the beginning about research operations as a competitive advantage, and I'm going to tell you why. So what I discussed before is what companies are doing about research operations. But the truth is that there are very few companies doing this. And this is where I see the opportunity. When it comes to building for speed, whether you are the only person doing research or you have a full-on research team, how can we identify the small gains, the small optimizations or automations that can be put in place? When we ask people, why do you think this is happening? Why research is not happening often? Why it's not being used properly? Or why, when it's used, it's not being shared? And most people said it was all about time. There is no time to do this well. And, we're very focused on delivery, and it's very difficult to incorporate research processes and this type of validation on an ongoing basis. There are other reasons like resources, lack of awareness of the importance of research, but ultimately the main reason that people quote was time. Now, I would like to argue that the problem is actually not lack of time, but lack of infrastructure. This is where research ops comes in. It is about understanding what is infrastructure that can allow you to have the time to actually do the research the way you want it to be done. When you think about feedback loops and how you go about validating your product ideas and features, all these different feedback loops that you're building within your product and within your organization rely on a variety of processes, techniques, frameworks, and data. And all of that is infrastructure. Sometimes the infrastructure is built within the product team, sometimes the infrastructure belongs or is built or is the responsibility of the data science team or the marketing team or the success team. And you have to be able to build that infrastructure together and work together in order to support the feedback loops that you want to build. So, for example, it's easy to access customer data. Are we tracking the right things? Do we have a process to incorporate insights from the sales, marketing, and support team back into our research process and how that works and how that's implemented within the delivery process as well? If you do have a research team, and then is an embedded research team, or are they working in isolation and more of a like an agency where they just do research ad hoc or on demand? Do we understand how to deal with budgets internally so we can actually buy the best tools or deal with budgets in order to get the allocation that we need in order to recruit the right number of candidates for specific sessions that we want to carry out? This is what I call infrastructure, and it's very important that you think about it, because research operations is all about infrastructure. It's about stepping back, looking at your processes and seeing, okay, this is how we do research in our organization. Can we do it better? Can we break down all these different aspects and understand how we can optimize it and work together so we can make the most of the data that we have and we can make the most out of the research that we are executing on today? So how can you get started with research operations in your organization? I have two suggestions for you. The first one is you can step back and look at all your research activities and your product discovery process and try to identify what are the small opportunities for optimization and automation. How can you build the foundations for better research processes? And the second suggestion is join the conversation. If this is new to you or to your organization, you can start getting involved with the community on Slack and get involved on the conversations that are happening on Twitter. I encourage you to be part of the conversation and also share your learnings and what have you done so far that has helped you do better research faster.